Madam Sipkes, we are happy to greet you. The floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I'm so happy to be able to attend virtually on this very special event, the first year anniversary, and looking forward. The past year, time and again, I have been impressed with the fight, with the resistance, with the energy and resourcefulness of my Ukrainian colleagues in finding a way to deal with the war that has struck you, the invasion that has become so much part of your lives, and how you have underlined the importance of both connectivity, but also, as Lilia and Alexander already mentioned, the importance of people for making connectivity work. Your experience has also put economic telecom regulation in a different frame. I will not forget how some European telecom operators complained about energy prices, and Lilia almost exploded, saying that they should be happy that they were able to pay a bill for electricity, because in Ukraine, you very well know that electricity is needed to get your networks up and running, but you're just happy with every hour that you can keep it on running. So it is the way that you find yourselves in very difficult circumstances and been able to carry on has been an inspiration, especially for my year as chairman last year of BEREC. I also admire the way that you are looking ahead. And looking ahead, let me share some of the things that you talked about already, Lilia, on independence. Last year, we have done an independence study by Icoris. And let me first start by sharing the definition. How can you be an independent regulator? Because we all believe as regulators in Europe that independence is vital to make sure that we have effective and trustworthy regulation. Independence, Icoris says, refers to the capacity of national regulatory authorities to resist pressure. In other words, to act without interference or influence from politics, both in governments and outside, and autonomously from other stakeholders such as regulated entities. I think the resisting pressure is something that I do not have to explain to anyone in the room present in Kiev today, and to act independently. And as Lilia already mentioned, independence has many dimensions. It has to do with the legal side, where you have the legal essentials. And it also has to do with something of the practices of both the NRA and the relevant stakeholders, which is not just the de jure, but also the de facto, the non-legal essentials. And the consultant Icoris has made a list of where all the, on what aspects or dimensions you can grade the different NRAs in Europe. And I'm sure that I do not have to read out either the rules or the reports to you, as you are part of the BEREC family and are able to take due note of that. But let me, for today, share some of the things through my personal experience as a Dutch regulator, to focus more on, as we just said, the importance of the human factor, of how can you make sure that you foster a culture of independence. Well, as I said, it starts first with making sure that you have the legal groundwork and you have the financials, not just because money is easy, but especially because it is important that you have enough resources to have all the people and expertise that you need to do your work. So that is the first aspect that I think is very important, to make sure that you're able to act independently. The other one is that you have to be able to listen and talk independently. You can only be independent if you talk and listen to all stakeholders. You should be independent and autonomous, but you should not be disconnected. It is important to talk to all stakeholders. And if you are not sure about if a certain conversation is important, I always tell the people in my directorate, ask yourself, can I be transparent about having a meeting with this stakeholder on something that has to do with regulation? If the answer is yes, you can have the meeting. If the answer is, I don't know if I can explain what I'm doing here, don't go. Don't have the meeting, cancel it. It is not functional. And when you have a meeting, then have a proper meeting. If you listen, be open-minded and evaluate the contribution. I think that is the third thing that is highly, highly important to be an effective and independent regulator, and something that I think is for the NCEC very, very important. It is, and easily shown, I think, so far. It is you have to have a proper analysis of the facts and the interest, and make sure that you base everything that you hear and all your analysis on the expertise of your economic, legal, and technical experts. I think the work that you have done so far shows that you have nothing to worry about in the way that you are able not only to use your economic, legal, and technical expertise, but also how you can integrate it and use it to face any challenge that you see. These are the foundations of all NRA decisions, I think, and we can only deliver this with motivated and skilled staff. And this is where the human resource point is so important. And last, it is act independently. And this is, of course, what it all boils down to. If you have talked to everyone, if you've gathered all your data, then act in the entrance of the triangle that Lilia mentioned: the state, the government as a whole, the markets, and the consumers, the end users, which should be in our heart. And the hard thing is of course, I fully agree with Lilia's definition of success. If all three are equally unsatisfied, it probably means you have done a great job. With this, I am very happy that we are all part of this BEREC family, because it is very easy to lay out the 4 things that you need for a culture of independence: a legal framework, listen and talk independently, evaluate independently, and act independently. It's very easy to write down, but it's very hard to do. So I'm very happy that we have a BEREC family in which we can use to exchange our practices, to share our doubts, to ask our questions. And I'm so happy that you have been part of this family as a participant without voting rights for this since last summer. And I'm so happy to be able to share all these difficulties that we encounter. And I'm hoping and waiting for the time that I can travel to Kiev to do that with you in person. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Again, congratulations on a year of striving for being a full member of the European community of electronic communications regulators, and looking forward to discussing all that we have to achieve one European telecommunications, connectivity, and digital market to the benefit of our end users, both in Europe as a whole and especially in Ukraine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you very much for your deep advices.